Hi. So I was not able to get to my live tonight on time. Had important things to take care of, and I'm getting a late start, so I thought I would just go ahead and pre-record this and then upload it or drop it in, or whatever the terminology is. Put it on my Facebook business page. And so I'm not done with this yet. I even might want to make a shirt with this, but for tonight, and I'm not even prepared. I don't even have my chalk pastes with me. I'll have to go get them. But the nice thing about recording is that I can just pause this while I'm getting it, so you don't have to wait. So at this point, I'm going to lower the camera down so you can see what I got going on here. Okay. Let's see what I got going, what I can do here. It's the first time I've done this on this particular tripod. Whoopsie. And I have to be careful. I don't want to make it fall over. All right. So let's turn on the light. All right. So tonight I'm going to make this little sign, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what to call it. And I'm using these stir sticks that I picked up, probably at Lowe's, maybe Walmart. I don't remember. And then I have these smaller stir sticks, and the smaller stir sticks were just a little bit too long. I'll go show you. So it was a little bit too long, as you can see. And so what I did was I measured it, and then I got my little handy dandy table saw out right here, and I cut a little piece off. So now they are the right length for this project. And I'm going to glue these together. And the first time I ever glued these together, I was running hot glue in between each piece, and the glue was getting all over the place, and it was a big old mess. And so this time I decided to try to just glue them together using the paint sticks, paint stirring sticks. So I'm using this little tool here to make sure I have all of these even. I had it lined up a second ago. There we go. So it's all straight and even. And I'm going to use a little bit of E6000 and my hot glue to glue these on. So I want to do kind of like that. I think 3 will be enough to hold them together. I'm pretty sure it will be. So put a little bit of E6000. The E6000 will give it a more permanent hold, of course. And then the hot glue will give it a quicker hold so that it sticks on while the E6000 is drying. Whoopsie, went over the edge. So I'm just going to turn this over. Oh, I didn't want that side on the up. That's okay. It's on the back, so you won't see it. So I think tonight I may just have to do the start. Well, no, it'll be okay. So now this one I'm going to turn it over first because I don't really want the ruler mark showing. Or maybe I'll let it show on the top now since the bottom's showing. I'm not a fan of having the ruler mark sticking out, being visible, but it'll be okay. So these are all lined up straight. They're as close together as I'm going to get them. And I'm just gluing them together by using the backing sticks. may even consider doing that on each. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how well it holds. I'm not sure how long this project will take, and last night it took 2 hours, and that's the longest live I've done in my short career of doing lives. And I'm pushing this one over while I'm gluing this down because it's not setting right exactly where I want it to set. Glue on my fingers. So it's glued down. Now to see if it's going to hold, right? If it doesn't hold, I can always add more. And there we have it. Just like that. So now what I want to do is I want to paint a portion of this. I don't want to paint the whole thing. So in order to make sure I don't mess up, I don't think I need this right now. So I'm going to move it over here. That way it's out of the way. I've decided that I want to do just a portion of this in black chalk paint. And this is about the width of one of the stir sticks. And so I'm going to put one here on the bottom. Just like that. It's not really straight. All right. There we go. And hopefully it won't get into the cracks and then bleed through. I've never done this like this, so we'll see. Then I want to put over this one, because I'm going to want a border. I want a border kind of like a frame. I want it to be framed in. And I'll take one more. Oop, just hit myself in the face with that. All right. Oh, I didn't make it long enough. I've decided I want my border to be about the width of the stir sticks. Come up a little more on this. There we go. And then I want this to be right about here. Okay. So now the design will be in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have this Waverly chalk paint ink color. And this is my sponge that I used recently. And I tend to reuse them until they can no longer be reused. And then I rip the sponge off and I keep the handle for a dowel. So I'm just going to paint. I'm not even sure how this is going to look. I just decided that this is how I wanted to do it. So I thought I'd give it a try. So what I'm going to do, so as not to run the recording too long, I'm going to pause it until I finish painting this off. I'm just going to paint all in here. All right, be right back. Okay, so I've got it painted now, and I'm taking a blow dryer to it to dry the areas that aren't quite dry yet. So I'm going to pause so you don't have to listen to the blow dryer. All right, so now it's all painted and it's pretty much dry. And what I want to do at this point is put some surface wax on it so that when I chalk with the transfer, it won't come through all funky and the transfer won't get ruined by the wood of the paint sticks. I expect this to take this long. Hold on one moment. I used this last night and it was not in its normal place. So, it took me a minute to find it. So I'm just taking a little bit of wax and spreading it on the... You don't even have to use this wax. You can use, as a matter of fact, one moment. I am going to use my special dark min wax. I don't get to use this very often. The only time I do use it is when I've got a dark project, because it's too dark to put on anything. I did not buy this dark on purpose. I just didn't know the first time I bought this stuff. I didn't pay attention and I didn't know it came in colors. So, and by the time I took it back to try to return it at Lowe's, it was past the date that they would accept returns. They wouldn't even exchange it. So, I grabbed a natural color and now I have two. And so whenever I have a dark project, I use this stuff. I only need to wax the area that I plan to stencil on to protect my transfers. And I kind of don't know what to call it. I mean, they're transfers, but when I lay it down on here and put the chalk, am I transferring or am I stenciling? Or am I silk screening? Am I screening? I'm pasting. I'm chalk pasting. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Now I'm just going to run the blow dryer over it for just a second. I'm doing low so I don't blast you out. and so I don't make this bubble up. You don't want to put too much heat on it after you put wax. Then you'll have it bubbling up on you, and that's not attractive. Okay, so this is good and ready now for stenciling, transferring, chalk pasting, whatever term we're going to use tonight. Now, I found this in my stash, and I saw a design that somebody did using this and this, and I really liked it. And this is big enough that I can do that. This frame didn't quite have enough room, so this is just the transfer by itself with some little beads that I made that are stuck to it with magnets. This is a magnetic board. As a matter of fact, I can put together a card link with this transfer and this frame. This is the Aiden magnetic reusable 9x12, and that way if you choose and you want to make this for yourself, it's just a click away. So I'll do that. So first I want to, this is pretty old, it's not written on. Now normally I write on the back. This is one I acquired from a person. It was already used by her. I'm going to put hive pattern. So it's been used, so it's not terribly sticky. And I wrote on the, see that that's the shiny side, that's the side you want to place it back on. When you're done washing it and it dries, you want to put it back on that side. This is the side you do not want to put it on, which is why I wrote on there to kind of make it easier for me to see. This if I do that, if I do all four, and then place that right about there, am I going to fit all four here? Okay. So I'm going to do 3 rows of the hive pattern. So I can see the blue tape through the screening. Oh, and some of the black paint, that's what I'm seeing. Okay. So I'm just going to push it down on the screened area to make sure there are no air bubbles. It's good to work from the middle out. And now I need to go get my chalk paste. Be right back. So tonight I am using the Brilliant White, Golden Hour, and Sage. And I've decided to use mostly older chalk paste for now to save my good stuff for my projects. Do I have squeegees out? I have squeegees out. And my tools. Okay. And squeegees. There is a bit of a tight squeeze on some of the patterns here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the hive pattern in the Golden Hour. I'll stir it up. So what I'm doing is stirring up my chalk paste. This is the older stuff, so it's not the creamy, dreamy formula. And so I'm having to stir it up a little bit and add some distilled water to it. So I'm using my just one squirt at a time until it's the consistency that I want it to be. So I'm going to do this with all of my paste that I have out here, and then I'll be right back. Oopsie. Okay, that didn't take too long. So now this is a little lumpy, and that's okay, but it's the consistency that I need it to be to make it work. And then this one came out really nice. That's a little thick. I'm using distilled water. This is why I was doing it over the floor. I do not want to put tap water in here because tap water is full of stuff and it will promote the growth of mold. So you don't want that to happen. Okay, so now I got to get the water off of here because it will affect my design. Okay. So for the beehive pattern, I just accidentally turned the light off. There we go. I'm going to use the mini squeegee, and I'm going to use the golden hour. I went too far. I didn't need to go that far because the tape. That's okay. And all I'm doing is holding the squeegee at an angle and just smearing the paste across to make sure I cover all the screened areas so that it will transfer through to the surface. I'm doing a little bit on the thicker side to start, and then before I remove the transfer, I will scrape off the excess. I hear it cracking a little bit. It could be because of the cracks between the painter sticks. So I'm very interested to see how it comes out. So now I'm holding the squeegee straight up and down, scraping off the excess, putting it back in the jar. I have learned that there's no hurrying up in using these things because they last quite a while. All right. So let's peel to review. See how it did on this surface. I'm not sure, 100% sure how it's going to come out. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's a little globby right there, but that is a seam. So it kind of got in there a little bit thick because it wasn't completely pressed down. But I think that'll be okay. I'm not too worried about having a little bit extra right in there. As a matter of fact, I might even be able to dry that and then touch it up with some black just to kind of fill in the hole. I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing. Right there. But that's okay. It's not bad at all. And so what I'm going to do now is lay this down over here and do the same thing. I want to measure it out so that I only get 3 rows. And I don't even know if I'm doing it perfectly 3 rows or not, but that's okay. And then I'm going to push it down. Just like that. And repeat what I just did. I'm crossing the seam, and so it's probably going to be globbed up a little bit there as well. I can hear it crackling a little bit. Quite honestly, when this is done, I can probably just go ahead and remove the painter's tape. But I may just do the, uh-oh, I'll have to paint over that. Gotta be careful. I didn't want that there. I might be able to just wash it off because of the wax. So now I'm just removing the excess. There we go. That way you can see it better. So there's a spot right there that's going to be pretty thick. Oh, maybe not. It came off. So now I need to take this over to the sink and wash it after I peel it off. Good time to wash my hands too. Oh, very nice. There's a little spot right there that I didn't want. Let's see what happens if I try to wash it. There, came right off. Okay, now I have to go wash this really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm very curious to see, but I'm gonna wait. So I need to dry this a little bit before I mess with it anymore. It's gonna get loud. Well, it's gonna get loud. Put too much heat on the surface that you've waxed so that you don't melt the wax and bubble it up. And I'm thinking there's a couple areas. They're just not going to be absolutely perfect because of the seam. So that part is still wet. It went pretty thick in there. I'm just removing. I'm using this tip and I'm just removing. It's a plastic tip, not rubber. This is kind of like a rubber. And I'm just taking off the excess paint, chalk paste. And up here too, there's a little bit more than what I want right there. I mean, beehives aren't perfect anyway, right? It did glob on a little thick in the seams. There we go. And probably what I'll do when all is said and done is I may just touch it up with a little bit of black in those little spots that I didn't want the chalk paste to be in. But this is the first time I've used this end of this tool and I am absolutely loving it. It is doing such a great job. Just lifting it, just a tiny bit of it, so that I'm not totally ruining it, but I'm fixing up the little boo-boos. When the chalk paste is dry, it can just be scraped off. Okay, that'll work. So that's what we have so far. It's going to be this way when it's all said and done. I'm just laying it sideways so you can see what I'm doing here. So now it's time for this. This one is still new. I've only used it once. So I'm going to take my fuzzing towel that I have right here, and I'm going to lay this on here and fuzz it. And I'm just, that's exactly what it means, is I'm just putting fuzz on it. So that it's not as sticky when I lay it on the paint sticks. I don't want it to peel anything up. I've waxed the black paint, so it should be okay. And I'm going to do this side real quick. One time. It's got a little more lint to it. Okay. So now I could have done 4 rows. That's okay. I'll just center this on here. Let's see, from the tip of the hive to the lowest point, about 1 inch. From the flower to the tip, about 1 inch. All right, so now I'm starting in the middle, working my way out. And since the seams are running this way, I'm removing air bubbles this way instead of that way. I'm hoping it'll give the design a better chance to seal, and we won't have as much of the clumping. That's what I'm hoping for. It won't be perfect. I know that because of the surface that I'm using. I'm choosing to do something that's not smooth. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little bit, pull it up, dry it, set it down, and then do a little more. And I want to do my little flowers in the golden hour. So I'm just covering up, and I'm going to put it a little on the thicker side so I can be sure that it won't dry while I'm doing the rest of the stuff. I'm making sure I get all the screened area covered for just the flower. And maybe the dot right there. That's pretty thick, but that's okay. That's where I want it. And then this flower. I'm leaving it on a little thicker so that it doesn't dry, because the thinner it is, the faster it will dry. And if it dries before you pull it up, it'll come up, it'll stick to the screen and come up off the surface. And I don't want it to come up off the surface. So I'm being a little bit generous right now with the chalk paste. And I will just scrape it off when I'm done. Okay, so that's the flower. I want to use this little teeny tiny one. I'm putting sage on the stems. So I'm just going to use the teeny tiny one for the areas that are really close to the yellow. Golden hour, yellow. Get in there. Okay. It's almost just like coloring, really. Okay. Now I can use a little bit bigger piece for the rest of the leaves. Carefully. Well, that was probably a little too much for that tiny little space. Trying to be generous with it, but not overly generous. especially where the seams are. All right, so that's that. And then I think I'll go ahead and do kind words. And I want that in the brilliant white. I want to do this on a shirt too. I love taking these and just showing all the different ways that you can use the transfers and get more bang for your buck. And when you consider that they get at least 8 to 10 uses, and if you take really good care of them, the people who are taking really good care of them are getting more than 8 to 10 uses out of them. Okay. So I'm going to stop at the lines. I'm going to do the lines really quick, and then I'm going to remove the excess and lift it up to dry it. Okay. There we go. I almost feel like I should put music on, but I don't know. I don't want to get into trouble for playing somebody else's music. Okay. So now I'm going to remove excess carefully because I don't want to mix my colors. Okay. And then here. If you accidentally mix it, you can just wipe it on a towel so you don't contaminate your colors in your container. And then the white, remove it, and it's going to go back in. I'm hitting the seams. And then remove this yellow. Oh, see? I made a mistake there. I'll have to make sure I clean that before I put it back. But I gotta hurry too. I can't leave that sitting there. Okay, so now, even with my fingers a mess, I'm gonna pull this up just to reveal the part that we've done. Look at that. Set that down there for a second. I need to wash my hands because I made a huge mess of myself. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to dry this a little bit. And pull that up here like that. And dry this. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently lay this back down. Now I want to make sure I push on the honey. That's it. Okay, and I'm just going to set that there. All right, the honey is going to be done in this color, but I need to clean that. Get all of this white chalk paste off of here. And just go ahead and clean it all together. And now, go this way. Because of the way the seams are, I'll go this way. There we go. And scrape it off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lift it up. So I see an area that needs a little touching up. There we go. Yeah, there's an area that came up with the screen because it had gotten a little dried on there. So I just laid the screen back down and swiped some chalk paste through it. And now it's ready. So I'm going to dry that for just a second. Try to point it away from the transfer because I don't want to ruin the stickiness. I really like it. I can't wait to see this thing as a whole. I do have plans for embellishing with some ribbon. I think it's going to look really cute with one of my beehives. Okay, so that's dry. So now, get it off my hand. I can just lay it back down, and I need to put the bee back down and the leaves. There we go. Now I can just drop it. All right. Okay. So I want to do a little bit of, I'm going to do a smaller squeegee. I'm going to use this one right here. Stir this up. All right. And one of the things I hear you can do with your chalk paste before you put it away is to spritz some distilled water into it. Do not stir it, and then just close it. And that will help it to not be so dry the next time you try to use it. That does apply to the old chalk paste. I don't think we need to do that for the Creamy Dreamy. If you have any of the old chalk paste on hand and you're struggling with it, that would be the way to handle it. Okay. Now, time for some sage. carefully. I tend to start going really fast, and then I get it in places that I don't want it. So I'm trying to be extremely careful here. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to do the last bit of it. With the brilliant white. I probably should have stirred it really quick. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. There's not much in the container, so it's not taking as long to thicken up. There we go. Okay. I'm really glopping it on thick here. All right. So now, let's remove the excess. I'm going to go this way. Okay. And now for the sage, let's remove the excess sage. I just got a little bit in my honey, in my golden hour. And now the golden hour. Just going to take it. Just wipe it off. Okay, and here we go. Take the rest of it off. And there we are. Oh my goodness. I gotta watch this. I'm loving it. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back. So, don't fall down, please. There it is. I see a place there where I want to dab a little bit of green on. Sage. A little bit of sage. So, that's what I'm going to do. Just fill in a little space right there. Okay, now I'm going to dry it a little bit. Okay, now I want to take my little tool, my little baby tool, and just dab a little bit right there. Oh, that's not going to work. That's okay. I have other ideas. I'm just dabbing a little bit of yellow. Here. Right here. Fill in the flowers a little bit. That's it. All done. Now it's time to remove the blue tape. Here we go. I'm going to do it slowly. There's one side, nice and straight. All right, here we go. I got a little less on the top than I did on the bottom, but that's okay. There's the other side. And now for here. This should be a little easier because it's just running along the length of the, oh yeah. The more I peel off, the more I'm liking it. Look at that. Okay, one more to go. I'll start on this end. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And there it is so far. Not done yet. Got one more little thing to do with it. So I'm going to clear some of the stuff away, make room to work on the embellishment. I'm going to put on pause you for just a second. Okay, so I got a majority of the stuff cleaned up and put away to have room for embellishing. I took this outside and I sprayed it down to seal it so that it's more permanent. As you can see, it's a little on the shiny side now, and it's got to finish drying. But while that's drying, I can make this part of it nice and pretty. So I need to make sure my glue gun is still hot, and it is. And I have all this. I have this, and this, and these. And this. Oh, I might put some other stuff with it too. But what I have seen people do that I really, really like is just kind of weave the ribbon through this area right here. So I'm thinking this is the perfect width. And so I'll just put a little piece here. I have to decide. Do I want it like this? Keeps getting hung up on the splinters. Okay, so no matter what I do, one's going to be under and one's going to be over. But what I can do is I can put the bow on this side, and then so it won't be such a big deal. And I totally forgot I wanted to put a few random bees on here as well. I think I'll do that tomorrow after it's had a chance to really dry. I'll put some random bees on there. I'm thinking. I'm really thinking. Okay. So that's the right length. Now if I had put 9, then that wouldn't be an issue. I didn't even think about that in the beginning. See, that's something to think about. So if I had put 9, then they both would have ended up on top. But I put 8, and so it's not going to end up that way. Now what I'm thinking is if I do this, skip a hole, I have created a quandary for myself. Alright, so let's put this in here like this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down so it'll hold it in place. So glue it down right here. Hot, hot, hot. Just kind of squishing the glue down to spread it out. Oopsie. I want the tips to be glued down as well. It's been an hour. Goodness gracious. Alright, so I guess I can't fill it up because it'll turn a different color. So I need to cut this down a little bit. A little bit more. So it's not sticking out. Here we go. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. Now, I think what I want to do I'm thinking I want to make an actual bow. I hadn't really thought that part through. How much do I have left here? I couldn't find any more after I went back Monday trying to find more. I couldn't find any more. I wasn't very happy. I was very sad. I think this will be okay like this, and then I'll spread it out. All right, so there's that, and this. I don't need a blow dryer anymore. So I'm just folding it so that it has 2 creases on each side. Okay. All right, decision has to be made now because I don't have very much of this left. So I got to do what I just did, and then I think what I'll do is I will just add some of these, but I won't. I'll just like crisscross them a little bit. So I'm not measuring them. Let's see. I sometimes wonder if that's blue. It kind of looks navy. And some of this. Stuff is just stinking awesome. All right, now I'm just winging it here. I don't even know if what I'm doing here is going to work. We'll see. I'm going to take a my bee. My bees are getting away. I've got more bees than I had started. And they fell out of the bag. Package of smaller zip ties, but I'll just have to use these. So I'm going to do a black zip tie. And I'm going to snip these just a little bit. Just a little bit. Same with this one. Finding the center and just a tiny little snip. Okay. I always put that upside down so it doesn't lock when I Alright, so what I did, so you can see, is I folded those so that we have 2 creases on each side, and then I snipped it in the middle, and the same with this one. We have 2 creases on each side, snipped it in the middle, and then I just kind of crisscrossed these over the top, just like that. And I rotated them like that. Now I'm taking my zip tie and I'm going to zip tie it. If I can get it to work. Wow, I'm really struggling here. There we go. That's the sound I'm looking for. So I want to make sure I have it centered. You know, I'll probably put a flower on the center of this to cover up the zip tie. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this, pull it out, give it a little twist or something like that. Just kind of spread it apart. Same with this side. Give it a little yank. Same with this stuff. Just give it a little yank, and then we'll have these just kind of messy there. And then I forgot I wanted to use some of this. right here. So I'm going to, let's see. Since I forgot to add it, I'll just make a little bow. No, I won't do it. I'm just going to put a flower. So I may trim those down, I don't know. I'll have to put it up and look at it for a little while. So I want to put this here, and then oh my goodness. I forgot I had these. Oh my goodness. Okay. My video is going to be too long. I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. Maybe I should just... Well, first of all, let's take the paper off. This is Dollar Tree Find as well. It's right here. This is not. Those are Lowe's, but they're like $1 for 3 of them. I think I want to put this on here. And then put the flower like that. And then maybe put one of these in here. I have to step back and look at it. Do I just want to use a couple at a time? Or should it be 3? That. I don't know. Do I just want to do that? I think I just want to do that. Okay. So I'm going to put some E6000 so that it will stay. All right. So put a little bit of E6000. And then I'm going to surround that with some hot glue. And now I need to place it right about there. Woo. I may put a bee right there. I may have to make a bee. Put it right there. Let me cut that down a little bit. There we go. Definitely. I'm going to cut this a little bit more so it's not as tall. And then pop some glue in there and hold it down. And there it is. I wish you could really see it. I'll have to take a picture of it, but it looks like it's framed. And you come up here and you see that. All right, that's it for tonight. A little bit longer project, and I'm hoping I'll get this uploaded okay. And then I'll take a picture. All right, if you're watching this, please say hi, and just note replay. It's not a live, but that'll let me know if you caught it. And if you have any questions about the transfer or anything that I did here or anything that can be done with other supplies, just let me know and I'll get in touch with you. All right. Good night, everybody, or good day. Well, I don't know what time you're watching this. All right. Bye-bye.